the gentleman part of the Amazon Prime Video Thursday Night Football team, Andrew Whitworth, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you, sir.
Always good to be here, man.
And I'm thrilled that you are here on the day after the schedule is released, the Thursday Night Football schedule. Let's take a brief look at it, starting with a Thursday nighter in Philadelphia. The Vikings and the Eagles, and then the Giants, Niners. We got a great Lions-Packers game right there. A little bit of revenge for the Packers for ending Rodgers' career on the Lions.
Yeah, there's some good ones there. I mean, me, myself, not playing anymore. I'm thinking of what I'm going to eat in every city when I look at the schedule first. That's really...
So what jumps out at you then? Which one is,
I'm going
most exciting for you?
I'm trying all the cheesesteaks first week for sure.
Cheesesteaks, Ghirardelli chocolate?
Oh, man.
Okay.
I'm going to have to take Kelsey and Lane up and get the O-Lineman menu for that week for sure.
Well, then San Francisco's the chocolate one.
Yep.
And then... What cheese curds? Cheese curds.
Oh yeah, you get the fried cheese curds.
Okay,
special. But I look at the Chicago Washington game there. I look at that as the do-over. Like please, like last year, great game. That was a rough one for us. I think Al almost fell asleep in the booth during that game. But
it's a do-over.
It's a do-over.
Well, the bar set very low for that one.
It's a do-over. Let's get it going.
That is funny. Oh, my gosh. I kind of forgot, having done the Thursday games for 10 years or whatever, when you did get the same matchup the next year, and the first one was kind of not very good. You have...
Hey, that means more than likely it's going to be a great one.
Hey,
That's why I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Upside all the way.
Look at you. It's a sunny day. It's the glass half full with Andrew Whitworth here on the Rich Eisen Show. Our radio audience about to return, and then we'll really dig into this schedule. The Rich Eisen Show radio network back here on our live Roku channel stream. I'm sitting at the Rich Eisen Show desk furnished by Grainger with supplies and solutions for every industry. Grainger is the right product for you. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by, just as Andrew Whitworth has here on the Rich Eisen Show in studio from the Amazon Prime Video team. So we just kind of took a first brief look in our Roku channel segment at the Thursday Night Football schedule. Let's jump into the opener, Vikings and Eagles. That was a Monday night game last year, not much of a game. This time around, the Eagles are that's going to be their home opener, taking on the Vikings. What do you make of that game for the defending NFC champs now?
I think it's interesting. You look at the Eagles, obviously you return a lot of great players. They're going to be really good, and one of your favorites to end up in the championship game at the end of the season. But I think they are going to be a little younger on defense. So they're younger defensively. You look at the Vikings. This is a game last year that probably pretty embarrassing for them. They had a great year but got embarrassed against this team. So I think it's a little bit of a setup game. The Eagles handled them really well. That's kind of the mentality, is that we know we can beat this team, and you're coming into a game where the Vikings probably feel like we have a lot to make up for from last season. Brian Flores is in there now as the defensive coordinator. How will they look? How will they be different? So they're not going to know a lot about what he may do against them. So I think it's going to be a fun game, really, to see which team, has the right mindset for that football game.
It jumps out at me, a game, it's your week 6 game, 5th of the season, if we want to put the schedule out one more time right here. It is the Broncos at the Chiefs. That one jumps out at me. The Broncos open up at home against Vegas. This is their first road game in division, and Sean Payton coming in with Russ into Kansas City. That's a big one in my book.
That was one of the ones, like when we saw the schedule last night, it was everyone was pretty excited in our crew for that one, because I think Sean Payton and the Broncos, here's our chance to go into Kansas City, face Andy Reid, and let them know that we're in the division now and we're going to be here for good. And so I think this is really a chance for them to send a message in a big primetime game. And, Sean Payton, the guy's a tremendous coach, and I really look forward to seeing what this Broncos team looks like under his leadership.
And then, the Ravens taking on the Bengals on a Thursday night. It's the Thursday before Thanksgiving, a big Week 11 game right there. How do you see Lamar and the Ravens looking? That's, to me, one of the bigger mysteries coming out of the draft and the talent evaluation portion of our calendar, and now the fact that Lamar is signed with Odell. What do you think of that one?
This was my game. This is the one I circled. We all had to pick our favorite that we saw on our schedule.
Look at me picking that out for you. We haven't even had that conversation.
Obviously, I love the Bengals, and spent a lot of time playing in this matchup right here, Bengals versus Ravens. But I just look at it because of Lamar Jackson. It's all the talk this offseason. The deal gets done. But but also they've added a lot of weapons. There's a new offensive coordinator in Todd Monken. And so now, what does this team look like?
What do you think?
And what are they going to be? Are they going to be more of an aerial attack? Are they going to throw the ball more? Or is there still going to be some of that physical nature? How do they really kind of keep all of that intact for them? So I think it's going to be fun because this is their chance. Joe Burrow, all his weapons.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson, you got some weapons now. What does this offense look like against each other? I still think I give the nod to the Bengals just because I just honestly believe Joe Burrow is really that rare special quarterback who just for whatever reason finds ways to win games in big moments. And
what do you think of the Ravens offense, though, in terms of what they will look like? Is it entirely possible that they will retool completely and just come out 4-5 wide, maybe run it every now and then with Dobbins? Gus Edwards can spell him for a bit, but it is going to be Lamar spread wide, winging it around and running through whatever lanes there are there because they have spread it wide. What do you think about that?
I think you look at their receiver options. You got some guys that with a lot of speed. You got a guy in Odell who's such a special guy one-on-one that they're going to have to create some of those type matchups. But I don't ever see the Baltimore Ravens getting away from Baltimore Raven identity. And they're going to run the football. They got a big, strong offensive line still. I think that's still going to be an emphasis for them because it just gives you what makes Lamar so special. I just think you may see a little more of him throwing on the run some. Maybe they enter some of these boot play actions, some of these things where they get him off the spot sitting in the middle. And then you'll also see them, drop back and throw the football more because he wants to. He's confident in it, and he's shown the ability to do it. So I think you just may see a little more balance in that. It just won't be such a power running attack. There'll be more balance because I don't think they're ever going to get away from the identity that's always been the Baltimore Raven way of playing physical football.
Andrew Whitworth from Amazon Prime Video, longtime professional football player of note, including Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner from a couple years ago, Super Bowl champion here on the Rich Eisen Show. Dolphins, Jets, the Friday after Thanksgiving, a little Black Friday special. Are you going to be giving out promo codes in the pregame show? What do you got for me?
There's no telling what's going to happen in that game. We're looking forward to it. I think I saw Ryan Fitzpatrick's promo yesterday for the game.
That was funny.
Hilarious. Ryan's a guy who's always entertaining. So I think we're really excited about that. First ever Black Friday game. I mean, I think it's going to be really cool to be a part of that. And you know what? I think it's something that Amazon's been really excited that was coming out this year. And so being in New York and the Dolphins, Jets, I mean, that division alone, the matchups are going to happen in that game, in that teams, man, it's unbelievable. Aaron Rodgers, here he is, right? Last time I was here, we were talking about we have no idea what he's going to do. He was in the darkness. We didn't know what was going to happen.
That's correct. He was in dark, right? Wasn't he was in darkness when we were?
He was in the darkness.
Now he's in the light.
Now he's in the light. He's
light
back. We're all excited. Everybody's positive. I know you've probably had some conversations about the Jets.
A little bit.
Prospects, just a few.
Look here. Here's the deal. If you look at the Jets' schedule, and we kind of just did here, but there's no doubt in my mind this is one of the worst Jets seasons ever if they go back and run it back with Zach Wilson. I know I'm saying this fully aware that the NFL is the ultimate you never know league, maybe on planet Earth, right? But, I mean, the first 6 games, home Buffalo, at Dallas, home New England, home Kansas City, at Denver, home Philadelphia, that would have been bye-bye week 7 if Rodgers wasn't there. Now, it still could be a difficult row to hoe for sure with the Giants and Chargers and Vegas and Buffalo and Miami right after as well. But, I mean, the question is how good can they be with this schedule and Rodgers so quickly? Because there is a conversation about Super Bowl chances.
I think
don't know.
So. I mean, you look at them last year. I think they're going to be right there in that conversation. I really do. I know some people have said they don't think this is going to work and it's not going to work out. But to me, you really look at, let's take just Aaron Rodgers out of it. You look at this Jets team last year. How many games did they lose where they had any decent quarterback play? If the quarterback played pretty good, how many games did they lose? And it's not many. I mean, they literally, if they just didn't turn the ball over and played pretty efficient at the quarterback position, they won a lot of games doing it. And so I think with him there, you know what you're going to get. He's going to take care of the football. He's not a guy that's ever turned the ball over much. So he's going to allow that defense to dominate, and he's going to make special throws. And I look for this relationship with him and Garrett Wilson to be a pretty special one. You can tell he's already pretty excited about watching him in the offseason. And so I think, man, they're going to be really good. I think that's going to be a tough team to beat because you're both sides of the football. They could be really dominant.
Well, last 2 years, Josh Allen and the Bills, Joe Burrow and your Bengals, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have made the Final Four in the AFC 2 years in a row. And 2 years ago, it was Tannehill who had that fourth seat. And then last year, it was Trevor Lawrence who had that fourth seat. You think Rodgers and the Jets have that fourth seat this time
I think
around?
they have it. I think they're the team. I think they can do it. I just think that when you look at what they have talent-wise defensively, a young, talented defense that's going to get only better. What a job Saleh does. He's one of my favorites, just the passion and energy he's always carrying with him. And so to put somebody like Aaron on the other side to give that, some calm and some just poise to that offense and just play efficient football. Nathaniel Hackett probably has a little bit of chip on his shoulder after the way last year went. So, they've got a lot to prove. And I think Aaron as well. Don't forget, whatever you want to say, it's an ending of a relationship. He's probably wanting to prove that he's still got it and he's still the man himself. So I love the narrative of that because I think that they've got a lot of things to look as they could be one of the dominant teams in the AFC.
Yeah, you got the Jets on the Black Friday game in Week 12 right after Thanksgiving. You got the Jets at the Browns as the final Thursday night game of the year in Week 17. Andrew Whitworth here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk Cowboys here because you do have the Dallas Cowboys on this schedule coming up. Let me get this right. Home against the Seahawks. So that's an annual tradition is the Cowboys play the week after Thanksgiving, full complement of rest. The Seahawks are playing Thanksgiving night. Both teams have a full complement of rest to kick off the weekend, the weekend after Thanksgiving. So let's talk Dallas because you have some unique insight on one of their top players. Tell me where you just came from.
I just came down from Austin, Texas. I was down there in Austin getting a chance to go be around Micah Parsons for a few days, and we had a chance to work together. And this game right here is one of the ones I was excited about because, Seahawks had some really good young tackles last year and Lucas and Cross. And so, I think Charles Cross showed that he could be a left tackle to look at for the future is a really good player and a great pick for the Seahawks. And he's going to have his hands full with a guy like Micah Parsons for sure. So it was really fun to get down there. You don't think of an O lineman and a D lineman working together, but it was fun for me.
Well, I mean, TJ, this one's for you.
Okay.
Why did you go? Tell everyone how you
so,
wound up going there.
Micah and I have kind of kept up with each other over the last couple of years. Once he got in the league, we had a inter squad practice and stuff with inter-squad practice, and when I was with the Rams, with the Cowboys, went over to Oxnard, and I got to go against him some when he was a young rookie, just, and that kind of stuff. So
when he had yet to even take a snap in the league.
Yeah, and so he had a rush or two that we went against each other, and really nothing to the play, but just afterwards I kind of shared some feedback with him, and so, over the years we just kind of text here or there or tweet, something DM or something to each other, like different things, and he reached out this offseason and said, man, would you have any interest in coming down where I train and working with me? And just, obviously you're going to have D-line coaches. You're going to have things you're going to learn from edge rush guys that you've been around. He's like, but I have the mentality. I want to practice against somebody who's really elite at being my opponent. And I want to get what's that feedback from that person. And why would he shoot his hands on this player? Why would he jump me in this scenario? So we watched a lot of tape of situational football, 3-step, 5-step, drop, the different drops quarterbacks take and why the tackle takes a certain set or uses his hands a certain way. And it was really fun. It was really igniting for me. I was telling Sean McVay last night when I was coming back, like I was full sweat. I feel like I'm coaching out there, just having fun, getting excited, just talking ball, man. I love this game. It's changed my life, and I look forward to seeing how it changes other guys' lives. So to get to be a part of somebody like Micah Parsons' journey and just do something to help him in any way I can. It was fun for me.
How about the Lion, TJ? Huh?
I mean,
as he likes to refer to him, he's the Lion.
I love this dude, man.
It's rare. It's rare to think that that's the way he thinks. Like, hey, I don't want to just listen to guys who've done what I do.
Right.
I want to know what the guy who goes against me does. And I think that that's really cool to think that his mind thinks that way. Like, always trying to find another edge, another thing that can make me elite and great. And part of that week, that was one of the most enjoyable things is I get down there on Tuesday and Jamar Chase is there working out with him.
Really?
Watching these two guys, and I think some guys have posted on social media and stuff, but watching these two guys do agility drills, the competition, the trash talk, the trying to beat each other every single rep, it's just unbelievable to see those two guys go at it. And Deuce Vaughn was there as well. Young Cowboys running back in the draft this year.
How does he look to you?
Man, he's a small guy, but man, his ability to bend was unbelievable. I was talking to the trainer who was putting on the workout, and we were just talking about just his knee flexion and how well he can stay low and change direction. It's rare, and he was winning. I would give him credit. He was winning the reps, but Micah was right there with him and Jamar as well. It was fun to watch those three guys just athletic freaks go at each other.
Well, it is rare to have a kid in the league say, veteran type things like, I want to learn from somebody who knows. I don't know everything, right? That's a rarity sometimes in this league, but particularly rare from somebody who's been so damn dominant the first 2 years. Like he could rest on laurels. There's no question about what he's done.
You think of a young player, the success he's had in his first couple years,
right?
To even be thinking like, man, I got to polish things up, I got to clean it up, I got to find another edge. I think most people would be like, you don't need any other edges. Like, you just keep being you. And I think that you really look at the elite guys in this sport and many others, that's their story. They were always trying to find, that 1%, that little edge that could just take them into, hey, I'm going to keep growing and keep getting better and keep refining who I am. And he is wound that way, man. Watching him work out, every rep is 100 miles an hour. I mean, he never has a half rep. It's full go, full sprint, trash talk, competition, every rep of his workouts. It's fun to watch somebody do that.
Andrew Whitworth, few minutes left with the Amazon Prime Videos. Andrew Whitworth here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk Rams. We had Les Snead on the other day. What was the phrase that he used, Chris, when I brought up the rebuild word with him? He said something along...
I love those picks.
Pollsters.
No?
He wants pollsters in the building.
He wants pollsters in the building to try and take polls on what people think they're actually attempting to do. Like, he was bristling. He's just like, how can we be rebuilding when we've got three of the best players at three of the most important positions in the National Football League, best at what they do? But the general sense, again, is Stafford is on the back nine, and last year might be indicative of what he's got left in the tank. Kupp, obviously, we can place aside. He's a young buck. But, Donald was already thinking, maybe I don't want to be here anymore, even though that could have been a contractual stance. And the coach last year spent a few days, in his own figurative darkness cave, And so what do you make of the Rams? What do you make of the home team here?
Yeah, I think, right now, obviously, there is some version of, hey, they've cut back and released some players, didn't sign some guys back in free agency. There's going to be, hey, we're going to be a young team. They're going to be playing a lot of young guys. I mean, I was up there a couple weeks ago, and what is there, like 45 people in the building before the draft and everything? I mean, it was crazy how low the numbers are. But in some ways, I think that's unique because it kind of creates that back against the wall, we're going to come out, scratch, claw, fight type mentality, which I think that team needed a little bit after last year, after the success of the Super Bowl, and then maybe having last year be a surprise that everybody's after you and you didn't play well and you were beat up. But I think they have a group that is still, up front. I look for them to be much better. I think they're going to be a lot better. I love the pick of the kid out of TCU. I think that they've got some young linemen now that have played, and they'll be more experienced. So I really look for them to be a little bit of a surprise. Do I think that they're still going to be limited in some of the talent they have and they're going to have some youth? Yes, but the beginning of their schedule's tough. Their beginning of the schedule is a rough start.
I mean, there it is.
That is for sure.
At Seattle, home San Francisco, at Cincinnati on a Monday night. They do get, if you will, fresh meat, potentially a rookie quarterback. I don't know if Anthony Richardson's going to be out there. Home for Philly. Arizona, everybody is expecting to have a disastrous year. Certainly they're going to get Arizona there when Kyler Murray's definitely not back yet.
I think that's the challenge. You look at it, I mean, really tough schedule. Young team, a lot of inexperience, even though you have some of these elite guys. It's really going to come down to, can those three guys you just named and a lot of the veteran guys that are left stay healthy? Because if they lose one or two of those guys, it's going to get bad quickly. And so that's really the truth about their team. But at the same time, the beauty of the NFL is we sit here every year, and that's my favorite, to look at these schedules and not go, what are the great games? What are the games that I'm looking at going, this team doesn't even matter? And then in November, we're going to be saying, wow, look at this team right now and how good they are, because it happens every year where there's a team that everyone says no chance, and they do it. I look at, even when I was in Cincinnati, we lost Carson Palmer in the offseason, demand to trade. We have this young Andy Dalton, TCU quarterback. Everyone thinks we're not going to win a game. We end up in the playoffs his rookie year with A.J. Green and those guys and tons of young rookies. I mean, it happens in this league. So what team will it be? And I think the Rams, when you look at the NFC, Who are the dominant teams that say are going to be good, dominate and be in front of them?
Hey, man, we were talking about this in the commercial break last night of the schedule release show. When you take a look at the AFC teams and the quarterbacks of those teams and the NFC teams and the quarterbacks of those teams, I don't recall a bigger disparity of the bold-face name front in my 20 years of doing this between the conferences. I just don't remember. And obviously, things can happen. I totally get it. Bryce Young could be the next sliced bread. But my gosh, it is a total huge difference between the conferences.
It's my favorite thing to do, because obviously, being in LA and being around here, people will ask me about the Rams, and I'll always say, when they make some comment about this is going to be a disaster of a year, and I'll be like, okay, I hear what you're saying and all those things. Tell me the 7 teams that you think are dominant in the NFC. They're going to for sure be in the playoffs, and it's like you can argue 6 and 7 all day. I mean, you're literally guessing because it is like, there's the top 3 or 4, and then there's who are the other 3.
Well, the top 3, Eagles, Cowboys, and
San
Francisco. Right,
I think if Purdy's back healthy by the end of the year, they're going to be really, really good again.
And you get them in week 2. Week 3, your second week of games. You get them right off the bat against the Giants, who are technically one of those teams, right?
Yeah, we think, right? But you know what? There's another question, identity, right? You get Darren Waller in the offseason, you pay Daniel Jones, like we may throw it a little more. We may try to be a little more diverse in offense and score more points, but will that change who you are a little bit? And you know what? Last year you were smash people in the mouth, play actions.
Yes.
Play defense. You got to be careful when you do those kind of things because it changes the results of these games.
And then you get Lions Packers for
Jared Goff, baby. I'm on the Jared Goff train. I want Jared to have a huge year, and this Lions team, man, I'm excited about them. I think that Chiefs Lions game to start the season is going to be an interesting one.
Last one for you on that. That's the only other time Goff played Mahomes was the Monday night 105-point game. And you were there for that, or you weren't?
I was there. Yeah.
Was that your first year with
that? Was second year. That was the year we went to Super Bowl and lost to New England.
What a night that was! Because again, you were supposed to play that game
in Mexico City.
And the turf wasn't approved. And then you come back and you play that game in Los Angeles.
No doubt, and I think this will be a really cool for these guys to go head to head again. And who's more prepared than Dan Campbell to be the guy to say, we're going into the champ's house. Everyone thinks we're there just to celebrate their trophy. We're going to bite kneecaps, hit them in the mouth, and win this game. Literally, they are built momentum, energy, confidence. This is who they are. Go fight. He's going to have these guys so riled up for this game to not be just the ring holders for the Chiefs as they celebrate their Super Bowl championship. I think that this will be fun to watch, the energy this Lions team comes out with for this game.
Everybody thinks we're getting rolled.
Oh, we're just there for them to celebrate. He's going to be all camp long. That's going to be the message.
Love it. You're the man, Andrew Whitworth. Thanks for coming in here. Appreciate you always taking the time to chat with us. The season looks like another blast for you.
I can't wait, man. The NFL, man.
It's coming. Let's chat during training camp. How does that sound?
Sounds great. I'm in.
Andrew Whitworth. Everybody check out Prime Video's Thursday Night Football when it plays. And guess what? Right here on Roku is how you can watch Thursday Night Football. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.